Social Plug Podcast.
What's going on, everybody? I am Johnny Martinez, and you are plugged in to the Social Plug Podcast, where we are connecting you to level up and where we discuss ordinary people doing extraordinary things. We are always powered by Social Plug Media, right behind me. Today, we're at Greenleaf Studios at Greenleaf Health and Wellness in New Braunfels, Texas. The man behind the camera in front of that Greenleaf Health and Wellness backdrop is the man, J-Rock, the engineer.
What up, people? How's it going, man? Let's get after it today.
J-Rock, you look excited, man, about today's podcast.
I am excited. I got my boy Andrae in that room.
Oh.
He's we got a lot to talk about.
So today's podcast is sponsored by Greenleaf Health and Wellness. Greenleaf Health and Wellness is an upscale cannabis boutique and wellness store offering unique, high-quality cannabis products in New Braunfels, Texas. You can find them at greenleafnb.com. And that's GRUENELEAFNB.com. Today's special guest, it's an honor and a pleasure, my friend, Andrae Blissett. Andrae, look at you, man, with the Social Plug Media hat.
Yes.
And he's representing that can there.
Yes.
Tejas Tonic.
That's right.
That you can find at Greenleaf Health and Wellness here in New Braunfels, man.
What do you
How is
think
that?
about it? Yeah, what are you thinking about it, bro?
It's not bad at all. I like the lime flavor, and I like to get boosted. So I'm getting boosted.
Works out perfectly.
Boosted is a good word.
Works out perfectly.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we're boosting you up with the Tejas Tonic and with this podcast, man.
Yes, sir.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
We've been waiting to have you on for a while, man.
Man, I've been waiting to get back with y'all.
Hell yeah. So you're not only a musician,
Yes.
you're a music instructor.
Yes.
You're an Air Force veteran. Thanks for your service.
Yes, thank you.
And you're also a community
Thank
leader
you so much, man.
Yes, sir.
here in the New Braunfels area, man, and beyond. You got San Marcos. You play in San Antonio. You play all over the place.
Yeah. I've gone from as far west as Hunting, well, the ocean, and as
You
far,
played in the ocean, man? Shit, that'd be impressive.
He made it out from the Titanic. he made it out of the trip.
Right. I was like, oh no, I'm not going down there. I'll stay up here. I'll stay right here. But yeah, back in for the past like 10, 12 years since I left St. Louis. I've been to Florida. I actually did play overseas when I was TDY.
Where at?
Oman.
Where is that for us people that have no damn clue about geography?
So Oman, what is that? The Red Sea? No, it's not the Red Sea.
It's in the Middle East.
In the Middle East. Right behind the airport. That's where we were at. The airport in Oman. So it's Sea Bear Base.
What kind of music did you play out there?
Man, actually, I didn't even think about it. I was taking care of church music out there.
Okay, you had the organ and stuff going.
There was a really nice piano that actually one of the lieutenants out there, and his name, it was Lieutenant Elcock.
Okay,
He showed me, just happened to be in the same place. And I was like, oh, okay, here's a church. Here's a church tent.
Yeah.
And I go in there, and there's this really nice chord keyboard that you can do a lot of programming and everything called the Trinity. And he was like, oh, man. He just happened to hear me. Comes in there, and he starts showing me how to program and everything. So I start programming music for church services while I was over there.
So did he get you started and get your wheels spinning?
As far as that part
ways?
of it, I knew I wanted that board. I knew I wanted a board similar to that. However, when I was at Whiteman, I played at church.
Whiteman Air Force Base.
Air Force Base, yes.
In your Air Force days.
Yes. From 99 to 03. I played played at the church services, played at a couple Baptist churches around the area. Actually, I played at quite a bit of the church services all around there. There were like 3 different churches, one in Warrensburg. That was a big time Baptist church. Played there. There was a non-denominational church that was right in Knobnoster. That's the town.
Knobnoster.
Knob.
What the hell?
Nom. Like it's a nom.
Knobnoster, Missouri. Literally in the middle of Missouri. You would never be able to find it.
Shithole?
Yeah, 4-way stop. Yeah.
4-way stop.
Yeah, that's all it was. It's a 4-way stop with a church.
Well, I can't call it a shithole at church, right? I mean, that's like
The town itself you were talking
Yeah,
about.
I wasn't talking
You ain't talking about.
Yeah, literally, there was a place where we took our BDUs to get our stripes and everything, so a tailoring place. And there was a breakfast spot that everybody went to, and right down the street there was a steakhouse that I would say didn't have steaks for real. They were the thinnest, most rubbery. It's called Panther Steakhouse. Yeah, I'm out you now. I don't know if it's still there, but the church, I think they're still there. It's called Charity Christian Worship Center. They had one. The big one was right there in Obnoster, right off base. And the other one, there was one in Sedalia. So I would go between all those churches, and then there was Shiloh Baptist Church in Warrensburg.
So you play in a lot of churches, man.
Yeah, that's where I started.
All right.
I literally my first gig, my first time playing outside of church, was 2007. So I was like 30. I was like 20. What? Yeah, I was like 31.
Okay,
30,
so you mentioned the organ, right? What else is your specialty besides the organ?
Drums first. Drums has always been my first instrument, and I had to take piano. My being in the church. My grandfather was the pastor. My dad was. He also he played, so he was a drummer.
All right, so pastor. All right, let me. My mind went. Is it good being a pastor's son?
No.
Are you? I'm sure you had some fun, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Did you have privileges, or were you getting in trouble? What?
Oh no.
How was it? How was it growing up, man?
It was always even harder on me. So like the biggest thing about it is, so my grandfather was the bishop of the jurisdiction.
Oh, he was the big man.
Yeah, he was a big man. And my dad was his assistant pastor. Now, This is my dad. This is the man who married my mother and moved us to St. Louis when I was young.
Because that's where you grew up, St. Louis. Okay.
Yeah, born in Chicago. And my mom, she sings. Everybody in that family has. So they really embraced me into that family. A lot of people, they say family is blood, but sometimes family ain't blood. However, I've been very blessed because my biological father, he's still heavy in my life, in my boys' lives, so we all have a close relationship.
Having that father figure is crucial, I think.
Yeah. It is. It
gives
really
you foundation. It gives you mentorship. It gives you another voice of reason, well beyond our own thinking.
Right.
When I was a kid, man, I'm thankful I had my father in my life. I could have gone any other direction because I was dumb and I was young. I was 14, 15, making dumb decisions or potentially making dumb decisions. So I know you had the foundation. You had all these different father figures, and that's why you're a good man. We've known you for a while. I've been in New Braunfels for almost 7 years, and I've known you for about 3 years, man. We first met during the pandemic.
Yes.
When we didn't know what the hell was going on. We were like, where is this virus coming from? Is this virus real? Is this going to kill us all? Are we
Somebody farted out? What happened?
Man, maybe it was a fart. Who knows?
Yeah,
and it went into somebody's nose, and then it fermented into some kind of disease, and here we are, man.
Man, I don't know. I mean, yes, and then
Yes, all the way around.
Yeah.
It's a lot of yes.
That's how COVID was created by
Yeah.
through someone's ass.
Yeah, man. Somebody
Fucking Taco Bell.
No, the Taco Bell over in the east. That's what it was. It was like, wait a minute, why is there a bat wing in my chalupa? Yeah. So that's how I went. That's my first gig outside of church was at the Chicago Blues Festival.
And what song? What was your go-to song, man?
I was playing for this guy named David D.
Okay.
My ex-wife's, her uncle played for the Motown Revue, but he also played for this guy, David D. Now, David D is he's one of those blues legends. So, at that time, he was in his 70s. And I ain't gonna out him, but yeah, I am. He had his wife, had his daughters, and then had his chicks on the side too. And I was like, how the hell did you do that? And then found out.
Is he still with us?
Yeah, he's like, or maybe he was in his 60s and he's in his 90s now or something like. Because I've been gone for.
Hey, something good's going on for him.
Maybe he drank 90. Cranberry juice at the gigs too.
Cranberry juice. He said he drank cranberry.
Right.
So I just make sure I try and find the best cranberry juice around.
He started looking at the bottle. Is this natural?
Was he a role model for you?
He taught me a lot. Because for me being in church, in the gospel, it was literally, okay, here's how you play. But then it helped me because I was also going from playing the drums and just kind of letting that go to playing keys and organ full time. Because one, as everything goes, you look back on drummers, especially gospel drummers, you look back on those drummers, and like when my dad was a drummer, and then me coming up, you're like, oh yeah, it's that. But then people want faster and better, and more flashy, and because that's what's selling records, So at that, and as far as that's concerned, who's the best? Who can make this chops? It's like you're taking some. All right, John. All right, J Rock, you know this one. It's like you're taking Evan Bourne, but you're trying to compare him to Jeff Hardy.
Oh, that's tough.
So it's a difference,
What are you doing?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a difference, So going from that, it helped me to be able to put different chord structures, and also not only that, but just see what it was that I wanted to do.
Right.
Moving further. Come to find out, this guy, he actually used to play the guitar for Ike and Tina when they were in St. Louis.
Get the hell out of here.
Dang.
Mm-hmm.
No way.
Dude, so my stepfather now, my mom, she remarried. So my stepfather now, he's 86 years old and sending prayers to him. He's dealing with some health challenges now. His niece is Angela Winbush. I don't know if you remember her, but it was one Fire and Desire or something like that. That was a big song.
That's Rick James.
Okay, well, not that one.
Fire
yes,
and Desire.
It was another one, but back in the 80s, she was real big for that one. However, she ended up marrying Ron Isley.
Isley Brothers.
So I met this guy before, and I used to drive him when I worked for my stepdad. And this is before him and my mom got married. And then come to find out, guess who his first guitarist was?
Hold on. Prince.
Jimi Hendrix.
Get out of here,
No
man.
way, dude.
So for the Isley Brothers,
Foxy lady.
yeah, I mean, it's like, wait a minute. So I'm looking up through all this, and I'm like, man. And coming from that, I just kind of didn't go back to gospel music too much.
You were like, hey, gospel's cool. It got me started, but now I'm on this other level here.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know if, back even through the pandemic, I would get up every Sunday morning, go to church, no matter what the gig was. Up until about a year and a half ago, I was at church every Sunday morning. Hadn't taken a Sunday off. Doesn't matter what happened. That was, for me, that was my get right time.
Right.
And I would do this thing. I would have it labeled P&W, so I would go live while I'm on the drums or the organ or whatever. And that would be just like, hey, it's good for me, but maybe this can help somebody else too.
Right.
And now I'm at the whole situation where I can do it when I want to do it.
Yeah.
So if it works better for me instead of it being, because it did, you'd think it would have happened sooner, but it just became a gig.
Yeah.
It was more of a task than it was, and it's nothing against the church or any people there. It was just, I was burnt out.
It was monotonous. You're burned out. It wasn't, you weren't fulfilling that passion anymore.
Yeah.
It was just a duty.
Yeah, so now what I'm able to do is, there's a church that, new ministry that just started here in New Braunfels called Second Chance Church of God in Christ. They are literally they just had their first year anniversary this past week. And from the time they started, they were they were calling me. I used to teach one of their grandsons drums. I would go over their house, teach them drums. And they called me, Brother Andrae, we want you to come through and play for us. Man, we'll make sure you were taking care of him. I'm like, you know what? How about this? I don't want any commitment as far as what I'm doing except Clever Name.
Right.
Which Clever Name is the name of my band.
The Clever Name Band.
Clever Name Band.
How'd you come up with that name?
It was a clever name.
That's it. Clever Name.
Led Zeppelin was taken, and so was Rolling Stones, and I was like, damn.
They beat me to the punch. Hated when that
So
happens.
it literally was a conversation between me and my brother. My brother, Greg, who it was three of us that moved here to New Braunfels, to Texas from Arizona. At that time, we were Whiskey Rodeo. It was myself, Chase, and Greg. Greg was the front guy. I was the drummer. In the recordings, I'd play the keys and do backgrounds. Live, played drums, acted a fool, and sang backgrounds, and that was that. Chase, he was the guitarist, basically the music director and the producer. We did some very good things in the years we were together. And after Chase left, he had to do some real life things. He left, went back to Arizona. Greg got married, so it was me and Greg still. And it was like, okay, we pick up some other guys to do this. And I was like, we're kind of at a different impasse right here. And he was like, well, what are you talking about? And I was like, well, bro, everybody here is looking at Whiskey Rodeo and saying country. But then they come to our shows and they see it's not country. Like literally,
You're like, yo, I thought it was some cowboy hats.
it was crazy. It was some good times. And I was like, are you married to this name? Whiskey Rodeo. And he was like, well, that's the name of the band. And I was like, but Greg, honestly, Whiskey Rodeo is three people. It's me, Greg, and Chase. We're not giving people Whiskey Rodeo without Chase, and he's not here. What about getting a new name? Something that can sell to everybody, and we can just play what we want to play.
And people always remember it.
And he was like, well, it has to be a clever name. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And we're coming up with these different names, and I'm like, and then it's like that, And I was like, well, what about the clever name? He was like, Dre, that's what I'm saying. It's got to be the clever name. And I was like, yes, like the Clever Name Band. He was like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's got to be a clever name for the band. And I was like, Greg, shut up and just listen to me. Think like Dre. And he's like, well, what are you saying? You saying it's got to be a clever name for the band? And I was like, And he's like, oh. We changed the name after that, and real life things start to hit him as well.
Yeah, man.
And
it's taking off.
He had to step back, and I hate that he stepped back. I hate that he left, but then I also never would have. When we moved here 10, 11 years ago, you would have never told me that I would be in this position I'm in now. Two, I was scared. I was terrified to do it.
What were you afraid of, buddy? What were the things that you're afraid of to make that jump?
Number one, the rejection.
Okay.
That's number one. Afraid of, or even just afraid of doing something so stupid that, I have no choice but to let it go. Afraid of, or just afraid of losing it, getting it, and then losing it.
Yeah.
Are the people going to, okay, yeah, people like when I do one song here and there, but are they going to like listening to my voice for 3 hours, or 90 minutes, however it goes? Is this going to go any further? The opening acts that we served as back in Arizona and, going to California, doing the tour where we started in Hollywood playing at Molly Malone's, like we literally on the same stage that Bob Marley, Elvis, all these people have played at.
That's awesome.
On this stage, this is where we started this tour. Come through to Texas, our first gig in Texas, we get stiffed in Austin. but then made these amazing connections coming the first time through. Going through, we just kept going. Ended up in Missouri, not close enough to home where I was able to get people where I was able to play at home, but like an hour and a half away. Ended up in New Orleans, Monroe, Louisiana, Arkansas, Tulsa, and Tulsa, Oklahoma was amazing. They were amazing to us. Tulsa, we got to go through and see I think it was the last place that Richard Pryor performed.
Dang. Okay.
Stand up underneath the stage. There's still a chair and a microphone stand right there.
That's
the
awesome.
way that Richard Pryor left it at Kane's Ballroom.
It's like a museum, kind of.
There's still people play. Cody Canada plays there all the time.
Yeah.
But underneath they built a stage on top of that. There's a picture that I'll find it through social media somewhere, but there's Richard Pryor's signature on the wall. And I made sure that we signed the wall right around there. But we got to do that.
What was this place called again?
Kane's Ballroom. It is amazing. I mean, and you can feel the history,
right.
But to have that appreciation for it, and I kind of heard about these things when I was in school. I was taking music classes back in Arizona, and it was my American pop clap.
So I got it popped up right here. So this is kind of.
Yeah. Right down the street, there's another place where.
It's cool, man.
Yeah, they like, hey, y'all want to go? So they're like, yeah, let's see what Tulsa's all about. And literally, they were like, hey, y'all should come into Kane's. And brought us in there, and we drank it. We got to drink back there and everything. I'm pretty sure nobody's gonna get in trouble with this now because that was like 2011. So I don't think anybody's gonna get in trouble for it now. But they took care of us, and we got to literally perform for the guy. I don't know if he was the owner or if he just was like he ran it, whatever. But him and the lady that had the other place down the street where we were playing, they were a couple. They sat there and said, go for it, guys. We got on the stage and just performed for like 30, 45 minutes for them. Just
That's awesome.
Looking at the pictures on the wall, and you see Hank Williams and all these other country legends.
All these icons.
Yeah, and it's like, whoa, this is crazy. So get to do that. Then we ended up going to Monroe, doing all these other places. Stayed in Monroe, Louisiana for probably like a week or like 2 weeks. We only had one show there on a Tuesday or Wednesday. It ended up like there.
Staying there for 2
It was almost like people knew who we were. Hey guys,
You're those
like,
guys that drink a lot.
Yeah, really, yes. We ended up going there, and then we ended up in New Orleans for Thanksgiving, and I became the drummer that during that trip.
Wow.
At that point, I was the keyboardist and just back percussions and everything. And every tour, you're gonna have a band fight, and this one, the drummer quit.
Oh, man.
And really, honestly, no love lost because everybody's not meant for the road.
What?
Yeah.
So what instigates these fights, or what's the main reason that not only your bands, but bands in general, because we've lost a lot of great bands. Is it ego? Is it money? Is it women? Is it other things?
Okay, now I will tell you this one: it ain't women, unless there's something else already going on back home. It ain't women, and that's one of those things that. Because that's what I'm thinking. Oh, man, we're going to get out here, and it's going to be...
Groupies.
I mean, you got some people, and we got a couple stories where,
Sex, drugs, and rock and roll, man. You hear about it all the time, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Okay, yes.
Yeah.
But it was craziness. We called them... We had started writing this song years ago after Monroe called Last Call Girls. And, these are the girls... and people, period. But they come out that last hour, and they're trying to find out where they're going and what they're doing and who they're
Thirsty.
going home with. Yeah, the thirst is real. And let me tell you, sometimes you got to do the do. I stay away from the Mountain Dew.
Yeah. Good on you. Look, Andre, you stayed away from the thirstiness. That's good.
Yes, actually, yes, I did.
Because you've been in church and you're a church musician and you got the pastor. You got that, he's looking at me. God's looking at me. Yeah, I don't know what's going through your mind.
What's going on through my mind?
Is that going through?
No, like, dude,
I just made that up.
Yeah, thank you. But let's be honest.
Thanks for thinking of me like that, Johnny. I really appreciate it.
You're a man. Are you a man of the cloth?
I wear cloth.
We'll go there.
But I don't want to get herpes. So I kept myself protected and kept myself to myself.
Safety first.
Yes. Or just say no. Nancy Reagan said.
Say no is a powerful word. A lot of people don't know. Musicians and business owners, whoever, people, no is a powerful word. If you say no more often, you're not obligated to all these different things and overwhelm yourself. I see musicians all the time saying yes, and you got to say no.
You got to say no sometimes.
You got to know your value. You got to know your worth and your time. Your time is valuable.
I've learned that because especially once I took over the, it's like, oh yeah, cool, yeah. Until I got burned by a veterans organization, and at that point I was like, I'm not doing benefits unless it's somebody I know and I believe in what's going on.
And you trust them.
Yeah. Other than that, like that one, that caught me off guard. And it was a veterans organization.
Wow,
that sucks.
They literally came at, hey, Andre, we want you to do this. We got these guys. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm down.
Veteran helping veteran, right?
Mm-hmm.
So.
And she knew, and okay, so you said you were going to pay me. I didn't ask. You said you didn't. But I'm out of my pocket now because I had to bring somebody else with me.
Yep.
Oh, we're going to do this. We're going to get it. And next thing you know, all of a sudden, she disappears. And I'm like, okay, I'm done. This won't happen again.
You lost that trust.
Yep. And once it goes that way, then it's that part where you get jaded and you end up being bitter towards people that don't necessarily deserve it. So that's why I'm very careful when I'm, okay, tell me what's going on. And then it also, first thing is, who is it coming from? There are people around the town, especially like Bob, Mark Herrera, Joe at Poorhouse. I mean, there are some people, you guys, somebody calls me and these are friends of the band, friends of mine, that I know I've never had to trust or I've never had to worry about any of this stuff.
Right.
It's an automatic yes, as long as we're open.
Yeah, that's rough too. Like as a musician, because I'm sure you're scratching and calling, scratching and crawling some ways to like make sure you get everything in. You just bought equipment, all this stuff, and for somebody to do that, who you hopefully you can trust, man, that hurts you a little bit, man. Really hurts you.
It does. It hurts. I mean, and now, especially the way that the community, with the stuff that's happened, for me personally, a year ago, somebody steals my trailer with $40,000 worth of equipment. So that happens, and the way the community came together for me, what was that, 2020, my face ends up in the news on social media with 3 other black men talking about, hey, if you see him, make sure you're strapped. Whoa. I don't know you. You don't know me. Like, what did I do to you? But to see the way that the community also came together.
Dude, the community loves you, man.
Yeah.
And I love the community. That's, I mean, I have to say that's one reason, like my parents, they've come, my mom and my dad, they both have come past year and a half. And they both are really coming, to make sure I'm okay. I'm like, what is it that is holding you here that you're not coming back to the Midwest? Number one, as much as I love my people in St. Louis and Chicago, I don't ever see myself living there again. And it's not that I don't love them, but when you find a place where you are accepted for you and you're being met where you are,
right,
and you're being also allowed to, hey, I'm human, but you're being allowed to hit your head, and there's still somebody that's pulling you, has your back with support or whatever. You know, if I would have been back in St. Louis where I was at, I'm like, oh, well, you'll be all right. No, this is my livelihood. You know, or just so for my parents to see the love here.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not. Oh well, I mean, like literally, it's not the whole thing of oh well. Is it just because you play an instrument? No, these are people who genuinely care about me.
You build relationships with. How important is building relationships as a musician or for you as an individual here? Because I already know we know the background. Relationships are everything. You hear me say it all the time. But for you personally, and you're kind of leading to it. These relationships and their support. And you mentioned earlier, not all family is blood, or family is blood, but not all blood is family, I should say.
Exactly.
So tell us about that.
You know, it's really one of those things, like I said, my mom, so I have 3 men who to me are my fathers, my biological father, my father who raised me, and like some people say, oh, your stepdad. No, that was my dad when I was growing up. And then my stepfather, who my mom's married to now. And for each one of them, they've had their part in my lives to where they got me. I mean, and they've shown me that. And I got them too. You know, my nephew, I mean, geez, my family, they're just awesome. But even like the people that I'm helping with at their church.
Right.
I show up and they're happy.
Yeah. Andrae!
Yeah. If I don't show up, there's no resentment or any crap or anything like that. Like, oh, you didn't, Jesus is watching you. You know?
That's what I just said earlier, right?
You know? Now it's like, where were you at 11 o'clock this morning? You're supposed to be at the church house. I see you on Facebook. What you doing?
You got time for Facebook. Right. You got time for the Lord.
I don't have to worry about that. Like, literally, I've found these people where they're small. It's a small place. And whenever you can get in here, we appreciate it. I teach one of their grandkids drums, different drums, different grandson, and that's where it goes. So like, wait a minute, where are all the rest of these black people coming from?
Hey man, growing up here, bro, in Broncos, there was literally like 3 or 4 black kids in my class. Like that's the way it was growing up here, man. I swear.
A year ago, I found out I have a cousin. I have cousins here in New Braunfels.
Welcome to my world.
That they live right around by.
Welcome to my world, being Mexican.
By where you say. I have cousins that live from Chicago, and I'm like, cool, whoa! Like cool. My dad, he called me, and he's like, hey, have you met? I'm like, no, I don't know who that is. And he's like, okay. And he had just left from Chicago, from here. He had come to visit for the first time. He had just left from here. And is talking to one of our cousins. And she was like, yeah, I'm in Texas. Oh, yeah, my son's in Texas. Oh, where at? My dad cannot say New Braunfels.
You say
how does he say it? Yeah, how does he say
Braunfels?
New Brunsfels.
Brunsfels.
And I'm like,
that's close. I mean, that's better than some other people I've heard.
You know what? I'm going to take it as Alex Mike's.
There's no S. Or there's only one S.
in New Braunfels.
Yeah.
You know.
You ever played with that guy before?
No, I've only seen him, and
really?
He's one of those guys where he seems cool as mug, but he's so happy that I'm like, is this real happiness or is this?
What do you think, Johnny? Do you think? I think that's really
Alex
him?
is a genuinely happy guy.
I think so.
I think that's awesome because it's either you're just genuinely happy or you're like poltergeist, the little.
Dude, when I see Alex, I get in a good mood. No matter if I'm in a bad mood, somebody just kicked my dog, whatever. Yeah. I watch him because he's a big guy on social media playing his accordion. He plays that polka, man, and he's just going, and it makes me feel good.
I saw. Have you seen
agree.
his spot? His where he's going to some of the
Yeah, I
restaurants?
was telling Johnny about that. We need actually, dude. We got to check that out.
Yeah,
Johnny,
he
when you get a
does.
chance.
He does.
He does
one
really
too.
good. He does really
and
good.
it's he took one. He was at where was he at the no, the pizza place.
I didn't see the pizza one. I saw he was at Neglin's.
Yeah, I saw that one, and oh my god, Catton.
Maybe we can connect it.
Yeah,
Where
Oyster Bar.
where Dre and Alex Mike's are
That's
doing
what
some
I'm
kind of
saying.
duo.
You got to do something, bro.
Oh, I'm down with that.
That'd be
A
pretty
friend of
cool.
mine plays with him a lot, Brett Klein, and I've always been like, dude, I wish you give me one opportunity to share a stage with somebody that I can clown with. Oh yeah, I'm down.
Dude,
So,
that'll be next level.
Yes, and do it at some place like
Green Hall or something. Who knows?
you know what? Whatever those brothers got going on over at Lazy J's, that's where I want to do it. Whatever they got coming up, and I know there's some stuff going through their head, but they're making it all happen.
Those
Adam
guys
and Josh,
fun.
I salute y'all.
Fun group.
Yes, they're just awesome dudes. Like, man,
Did you see our episode with them, bro?
I didn't see the full.
Dude,
I didn't see the full episode. I saw pieces, and I was just
dude.
like, because there was one part where
Josh talking about side
Josh
movement
said
shit.
something, and I just busted out laughing while I'm at home, and I'm just like, oh my god! And I couldn't, but I commented like that part took me out right there.
He was talking about side move, bro.
Yes,
Right? He goes, because Johnny tells him, he goes, thanks for dressing up, man. And they're like, yeah, we had to do a whole wardrobe change. And Josh goes, yeah, man, we couldn't have any side moves sticking out at the
Yeah, I'm
restaurant.
glad there was no wardrobe malfunction on there.
Oh, man.
bro. But those amazing guys, and y'all too. I mean, definitely to be connected. I mean, because 5 years ago this wasn't here.
All right, I'm asking you some random questions, all right?
And I got some random answers.
Would you rather live in the ocean or the moon? 5,
Hey,
4,
hey, no.
3. Ocean or moon, man? On the moon. Would you rather lose all your money or all your pictures?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Pictures?
Meaning like memories.
Shit, I've been broke before.
So-
Take my money.
Take my money. Would you rather be invisible or be able to fly?
Fly.
What's the most adventurous thing you've ever done?
Legal.
Legal.
Illegal.
With the groupies? No, I'm kidding.
He said legal?
Most adventurous thing. Oh my God. Filmed a horror movie, a zombie movie, completely guerrilla style in the middle of a ghost town. And slept in the haunted bed and breakfast that I noticed is on Ghost Adventures.
Wow.
Wow, okay. That was a good one. Okay, where was this at?
Arizona. Bisbee, Arizona.
You like ghosts and shit or what?
I do not like ghosts. I never believed in them. We always, like, after my grandfather died, the house, my cousins always been scared to go to the basement, which was always weird anyway, because the lights be off and you got to cut the lights on. And one of my cousins, one of my older cousins, he's like, Grandpa down there. I'm like, dude, don't play with me.
Don't do that, bro. Don't do that,
so after
bro.
my aunt passed away, we were down there and something happened, and all of a sudden the phone starts ringing, and I'm like, huh. So I go upstairs and I'm like, Grandma, the phone's downstairs started ringing. Did somebody answer the phone? She was like, what are you talking about? I was like, Grandma, there's a phone downstairs ringing. She was like, that phone's not hooked up to anything.
Oh, hell no.
Oh, no.
Oh, hell
I was like, oh, okay. So at that point, I'm like, nope. I never went down in that basement again.
You feel like Scooby-Doo. You know,
yeah.
You know how Shaggy and Scooby-Doo were scared of everything?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That was you, man.
Well, the thing is as I went, and I still never put that together. I'm like, I mean, but it definitely was an oh, hell no. But I moved to Arizona. Oh, no, this was when I was living in Arizona, and I came back from my aunt's funeral. And at that time, I had my first experience where it had to be something supernatural. I was managing a music venue in Flagstaff, and I'm closing everything up. I'm the last person there. And I'm like, man, okay, wait a minute. I got to get this. I got to go get this something. And I was setting the alarm, and I set the alarm, and I was like, shoot. but I was at the door. Something literally pushed me out the door. Like I just heard her go and just pushed me out the door. Bro, I ran up that alley so damn fast.
And there was nobody there, was there?
No, nobody was in there. Cameras were on, everything, but there was something there that I didn't see.
This is so question. It made you question, right? In a
Yeah,
way?
yeah,
Dude.
it really did.
So you believe in ghosts now,
I've
don't you?
had some shit too, man. I've had some stuff happen.
There's a place we used to play all the time. That's on the new. It's like on one of the newest episodes of Ghost Adventures.
Damn.
A place called Hotel Weatherford in Flagstaff. God damn it.
Johnny, you believe in ghosts, Johnny?
Hell yeah, I believe in ghosts.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in life after death. I believe in ghosts, and I believe in other life in other galaxies far, far away.
Oh, it's got to be.
Yeah,
It
hell
can't
yeah.
just be us here.
Yeah. We were just
It can't
talking about
just-
that
yeah.
earlier.
I mean, it's.
What do you think about all this alien shit, bro? You think okay, so what's happened with this past couple days, y'all see that this lady was on the she was coming out, she wanted to get pushed off she wanted to get off the airplane because the person that was sitting next to her looked like they're calling them shapeshifters or aliens.
I've heard of
And
shapeshifters in Arizona.
You heard that
with-
before?
among,
Yeah.
Native
So
Americans.
that's what she said it was. Then they were saying that the person that she was talking to just would not respond. And apparently there's another guy, I saw this on TikTok, the guy named Cole. It's called the Cole Show, KOLE show. And he said that whatever it was turned and looked at him, and when it looked at him, it winked at him, but it didn't wink like this, it winked like this. And they were just like, So, and again, nobody has much video of it other than the lady freaking the hell out, wanting to get off the airplane. And so, like, they've been making it memes and stuff now. They're giving her shit about it. But
She might have been high as a kite, too. Who knows?
Yeah,
so people were saying she was drunk, but the way she doesn't sound drunk. She seems like she's scared that she saw something crazy.
Yeah, like, you
But
know
it's
what?
crazy stuff like you don't know, you know?
With everything, I look at it, and my dad said this to me before. He's like, life imitates art, art imitates life. When you see something that is on, especially like technology, remember, none of this stuff was thought of before until intermediate state, and all of a sudden,
I know, dude.
you start seeing all
Then
this.
the
it's
government's
like,
giving some of this shit out too, apparently, you know? So,
Thing
Well,
is-
it's been declassified, a lot of the things.
well, that and yeah, people are nosy. It's like when people are nosy. Sometimes you just got to mind your own goddamn business. How about that one?
I think
Just-
it's gonna be that. It's gonna be that people just like my dumbass. I'm so like wanting to get into it, but then like until we see something or something in front of us, gonna be like, oh my god,
Bro, look at all this. Look at all these other movies that we've seen, and what happens, and where does everything go wrong when somebody is being too damn nosy? Man,
Didn't your mama tell you?
What's your favorite movie?
ooh.
I'd like to answer that one.
J-Rock, what's your favorite movie?
Mine's Friday, bro. I made that decision at the end, like a couple weeks ago. My all-time movie.
That's his life story.
Is Friday. Which one, Smokey or Gray?
I would say my favorite all time has to be Coming to America.
Oh, that's a good one.
It's one of mine, too. I like Coming to America, Life. Remember Life with Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence?
Yes.
The upper
Harlem Nights.
room. I'm going to bust up in the motherfucker. Go, the upper room.
Yeah, there's some. I mean, oh man, Trading Places. I ain't gonna lie. Titanic.
Oh, did you cry at the
Titanic?
end? When Jack
The
went
first
down?
time, yeah, but I was with a girl. I was with my
Okay,
girlfriend at
so
the
with
time.
you being a fan of the Titanic movie,
I just watched it a couple
would
days.
you have gone in that damn ship, bro?
Well, which one? Not a chance, man. There's some. You know what? There's
Or that
something.
little thing, whatever that boat, whatever they think.
We still haven't discovered. We've only discovered 15% of the ocean in 2023. And you mean to tell me that there's a ship all the way down that far?
2.5 miles down.
Yeah, that is more than that's more than stacking the Eiffel Tower 2 to 3 times. And you want to tell me that you wanted me to take me down there 100 years later. There's a reason that thing is still down there. There's a reason
yeah.
that
They
we
pulled that
haven't gotten
lever,
out.
yeah.
Like my whole thing when I was watching Titanic, I was like, why didn't the people from Ocean Gate just call the people from Titanic movie and say, how did y'all get those ships with people in it down on the ocean floor? But there has got to be something down there that we're not. I mean, and there's this the whole rabbit hole of Facebook videos, which it's called Casual Geographic, and this young kid, and he knows way too much about animals. And he's shown like these different things that are coming up that are just surfacing, from deep sea.
Yeah.
Some kind of squid or something that looks
Different.
Like
Yeah, it's got-
deep sea anglers.
So like even
Bro.
different
Dude,
creatures.
and
Like, go ahead, Johnny.
No, that 2.5 miles down is not even the deepest part of the ocean.
No.
exactly.
No.
There's
That's like-
more.
Yeah.
There's more.
Marianas Trench, I think, is the deepest part of the ocean.
And I think they were saying that there's like a reason why. Like you don't want to see what's past those. And the creatures that they're starting to see now, apparently, again, this is just shit that I hear and read. Apparently, as we're fucking up the world with all the things that we're doing, those creatures are now starting to come up and surface further up, which is why they're able to find them now in different parts of the world. Apparently, they're finding new fishes, like different
Yeah.
types of fish.
He said fishes.
Whatever I just say, fishes.
I think that might be right.
Fish.
I think I've seen it.
Fishes.
I've
Just
seen it
like
in the
deer.
Bible.
What's more fish?
I've seen it in the Bible. Fishes.
The little fishies.
Or fishies.
The little
Yeah.
fishies you eat, right? Eat all your fishies.
fishy.
But anyway, man, that's crazy stuff. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's. Okay, go ahead. Go
Dre,
ahead,
Yeah,
Johnny.
what else you
Dre,
got, Johnny?
if you can travel anywhere in the world, where would you go and why?
I've never been to New York. I want to go to New York.
New York City.
Never been there?
Yeah.
Oh,
never
Okay,
been.
I can say I've actually been in New York, bro.
Yeah,
It's fun. It was fun.
I would say and actually, you know what? Because like so many people that I want to go see this and I want to see. I don't like airplanes like that. So I'm not trying to go back overseas. And I used to be a very big fan of the series Lost. Yeah, I'm good on flying over over the ocean. But like straight up, New York, Maine, that whole part.
East Coast area
Yeah,
right there.
and-
Philadelphia.
Yeah, I mean, just I like the small, like Boston, Boston, Maine, New York. Yeah, I would be okay going Philly. I don't want to go to Baltimore. Supposedly, Baltimore is crazy.
I've heard a lot of stories, and I won't
Yeah.
even mention them.
Yeah, and then there's also the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
Seattle, Portland. Yeah, want to go. I mean, I used to watch. Do you remember watching NBA stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Seattle
Rashad?
Supersonics or Ahmad Rashad. Yeah.
Yeah, and the Supersonics, and they were always showing them.
Dude,
The meat
yeah,
market.
someone-
Yeah,
That's the meat market.
Someone
or
asked-
not the meat market, the fish market.
Yes,
Fish market,
and
yeah.
they throwing those salmons
Just
and
throwing
stuff
those-
like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now
That's that real
Now I
shit.
got y'all.
Yeah, that's that real shit.
Do you say the L in salmon or do you leave it silent?
Salmon. SAMON. Salmon.
There's an L in salmon.
Silent.
There is an L, right? There's an L.
Silent.
How
Salmon.
is this? How is it silent though? When if you say balm,
Bomba.
balm, BALM, like you put lip balm,
Balm.
lip balm.
Bomb.
Lip balm.
Do you put? I mean, do you? Fry
I think
your,
that's if you like, even if you kind of like roll your L's a little bit more.
Tomato.
Maybe I might do that. But
what is
I say
what is
salmon.
what?
What did you say?
I saw salmon. I saw
Salmon.
salmon.
I mean, but
no,
then-
when I
then
say it, I
there's
say salmon.
salmonella.
I even say salmon.
It's salmonella.
Salmonella.
You just said
But
the
it
L.
do-
You
it
said
does-
the L.
it-
Salmonella.
Salmonella. No L.
Salmonella.
I mean, you could say salmonella.
Bro, we grew up saying Whataburger? Like
Or
Waterburger,
Whataburger.
Waterburger. So for years, like growing up, I thought it was literally Waterburger. But then, like as I got older and I could read, I'm like, it says Waterburger, Mom. She's like, that's what we call it. We call it Waterburger. I'm like,
Or sandwich.
it's just the way
Sandwich.
they say it.
Sandwich.
Hispanic culture says sandwich.
Sandwich. Yeah,
I've had family members
like
say
with a
sandwich.
G. Sandwich.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get yourself in and make yourself a sandwich.
Yeah. Sandwich.
Sandwich.
Yeah.
Sandwich. It made me one day write that up. And somebody's gonna know what I'm talking about.
Dre, give me a bucket list item that you haven't accomplished yet, man.
That was a good one.
Bucket list item. Being able to buy my mom a car.
Okay.
Nice.
Like, just go up and
Boom.
pay cash for
Cash. I was
what
gonna say
she want.
finance or cash. You gotta go cash.
I
And
mean,
what kind of car?
She likes Mercedes.
Okay.
She's a big Mercedes person, and she has one. Oh man, I thought this thing was like 2 or 3 years old. No, the thing is like 10 years old. I'm like, and but it drives so amazing. And that's one
Amazing
thing I've
machine.
always wanted to be able to do.
That's
Just
cool, man.
Go on a lot or just show up at my mom's house and, hey, mom, here you go. This is for you. You know.
That's cool, man.
If you can have dinner with any historic figure, who would it be?
Dead or alive?
Dead or alive? Historic figure. Anybody.
Honestly, I would say Jay-Z.
Jay-Z.
Either Jay-Z or Will Smith.
And why?
Number one, now Will Smith, I've always been a huge fan.
Just make sure you don't slap you.
After or before? I was gonna say after.
I'm still a fan. You know, there's
I am too.
Keep his
Yeah,
wife's
too.
name out your mouth.
right.
I'm
I
still a
mean,
fan,
well,
too.
definitely that. But Will Smith, knowing where he came from, like, coming up, hitting real big, then ending up completely bankrupt, and then coming back up, and then taking the world by storm. And one thing I remember seeing, it was an interview he did, and he said that the people that he surrounds himself with, he was like, you are an average of those people that you surround yourself with. And this is what him and his crew do. Once somebody stops trying to go further, once they're looking at it and they're just saying, okay, I'm here, there's always more to do. He's like, I can't be around it because I don't want that person, you know, there's
slow 'em
them
down.
being stagnant to rub off on me. And if we're just averages of each other, me coming up and you staying right here,
We're staying the same.
yeah,
still.
we're and I mean, man, you can't knock that guy on staying, regardless of what everybody thinks of what happened last year. Which even on that aspect it's so much that you put together. You've been smiling for 30 and 40 years, taking all the hits and never saying or responding. And you already got beef with one guy, and he decides to hit back.
Yeah.
Well, that happens.
There was two sides of the token. I hear that, and I hear the other side. That he was outlandish, and he's a loose cannon, and yada yada. He's a toxic guy. Who knows? Well, I mean, nobody knows.
Nobody truly knows.
And then you got the comedian saying some stuff about your wife who's sitting right here, and everybody's laughing at it at her expense. So and I put myself in that position. I'd probably be pretty pissed off too.
Yeah, and
But
this is also
you just don't know.
after a few years ago, the whole Oscars thing before, where he just goes on a rant about her.
Right.
And notice I'm saying,
And it was
because
brewing.
I'm keeping that man's wife's name out of my mouth.
Yeah.
But he put her in it. Well, did nobody invite you anyway? Da 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 da.
Yeah.
And supposedly there was some dialogue where he's like, hey, you need to chill out on this.
Right.
And now, right before, they had just, the host, who was it, Amy Schumer and Wanda Sykes and whoever else. And they're like, oh yeah, Jada with your, oops, sorry, I didn't mean to say her name. But with your young boy, da da da. And they both laughed. But now we're talking about this situation right here. You speak on this, and now it's personal.
Yeah.
Because now, you can say, oh, yeah, well, you saw him laugh. Okay, yeah, you saw him laugh because that's what he's been doing for 40-something years, just laughing at everything.
Yeah.
Right.
And you turn around and you see your wife is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
If you read his book, if anybody read his book, they will notice, and I do have the
Yeah.
book, that it says he talks about how he was helpless to save and step in and save these females that were hurt by other people, and that he would never let it happen again to the women he loved.
Right.
To these females who they don't have nothing to do with this, he will never let it happen again. Guess what? He didn't let it happen again.
Mm-hmm.
So now, that's what it is.
He held somebody accountable. Mm-hmm. There it is.
Yeah, and is it right?
Crazy.
I mean,
It might have helped his career too.
yeah.
I mean, because he had just made a movie. He made several movies, and then he did this. People were mad at him. Some people hoisted him.
They shut down some of his movies too, right?
I mean, it was still
Like I think he was supposed to do another I Am Legend.
Okay, now let's look at this. Every movie that he makes is under his own thing.
That's his own company.
Overbrook. That's his.
Okay.
How you gonna shut down what I'm doing? And I owned it.
Right.
Maybe
You
he
know?
doesn't think he might make the money back because that's.
Oh, well, they're
I don't
already
know.
doing. I know they're already doing. I think they probably just wrapped recently, the last Bad Boys.
Oh, really? Well, see, that'd be good for him because you can't lose out on that.
Well, did you see Emancipation?
No, I heard it was great.
Which one?
Emancipation.
That's his most recent one, right?
That yeah, that's the one he released last year, where he's
You're gonna make
slave.
me go and see if I can watch that tonight. Because I think it's on
Apple TV.
It's on Apple. I'm gonna have to go look at that. I love Will Smith, man. I grew up on him. I think that was one of my dude. Like, I got put in front of a TV a lot when I was young, so I found role models that way, which is why I love pro wrestling. But him and fucking Urkel, bro, like those dudes just like made me build confidence in a way that I didn't know how to bring out until I got a little older, you know.
Urkel made him build confidence. That's great.
Hell yeah, dude. I
Hey,
remember
man,
being
you know
shut
what?
down. Urkel
Yeah,
being shut down. I was nervous talking to girls.
Yeah, he shot his shot every
I still am.
single
If you don't
day.
shoot, you don't score.
Unless I'm
Kind
drunk.
of like Screech. Remember Screech from Saved by the Bell? Did you watch that?
Yeah, I did. Well,
Rest in peace, Dustin Diamond.
Yeah,
That was
like
his name.
all of them, bro. That generation of television was amazing, bro.
Yeah, it was.
That's why you kind of might have some. We're the last generation of, dude, scared to not have to go to school. You know what I mean? Like, I was scared going to real estate school. To be honest with you, we can go. That's a different podcast, but that's what I'm saying. Like that generation of TV showed us shit, and you know, I thought Will Smith had a big part of that, and that's why I really loved him. You know, growing up and watching his movies, I still like him. I don't know. You know how many other people slapped somebody else or slapped her, whatever.
You know what? From what, and it is literally just only because there was no social media. But back in the day, he was. People want to talk about, oh, well, if there was such and such. Oh no, he probably would have done the same thing because he was.
Oh yeah.
He was one of them guys that he didn't take. You know, being in the hood, being in the hood, like when I was in Chicago, being in St. Louis, everybody always looked at, oh man, the light skinned kid. They just look at us as we just the pretty people that, okay, you smile too much and you know.
Wait,
girls
so
like
you're even though you're black, it's because you're different because you're light skinned.
Yeah. So he would get, and he didn't cuss in any of his music. So
Correct.
he
He
got
didn't.
literally outed a lot of times, and there are some situations where there's one guy he almost beat to death.
Oh jeez.
Like he wasn't, and this is before he was Ali. So take somebody who knew how to fight already before they was Ali.
I'm thinking-
Do you really want to test them after they play Ali and do the training?
I'm thinking he did Ali just for self-defense, and then people saw how good he was, so they're like, "Damn,
Dude,
oh, that's hilarious."
Yes, that was like the early
That's
90s. So
hilarious.
there weren't the camera phones recording and stuff like that. It was, okay, well, here's what we're going to do. What we're going to do is we're going to sue you. Okay, well, I'll just give you money. Because
That happens often.
Yep, happens a lot. It's
And-
crazy.
Happens in politics, in the government, and entertainment.
Oh, yeah.
And
it
athletics.
happens everywhere.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Dre, you're an insider in music.
Yeah.
I know you love music, you love
Yes.
movies, and I love chopping it up with you. But before we wrap this up, what's the best decade of music?
All right. R&B for me would be
overall decade.
Overall, oh man, that's
60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, and then 2010s, and then
90s.
2020s.
Yeah, we gotta close it out.
90s.
I agree with that. So 90s, you had everything, and I'm passionate about this because I just had this discussion the other day. You not only had grunge that was born, you had country that was big. You had rap, gangster rap, Snoop Dogg, Dre, all these guys.
Biggie.
You had Biggie, Tupac, East versus West, and then you had all kinds of other. You had Tejano here in the in the Texas area and New Mexico, Arizona.
Oh yeah,
there was
Selena.
so much in the '90s. Every time you turn on the radio, it was a hit constantly, and there was so many. So I grew up obviously in the '80s and '90s, but '90s is when I really was in tune with music, man. R&B, R. Kelly. Can we say that on the air?
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, as long as you ain't paying nobody.
Just everything. So you're spot on. I think that we think alike with the music, man.
Yeah, I mean the '90s was like literally. Yeah, the '90s was just.
it was
I
the shit,
mean,
man.
rock.
Everything. One of my favorite rock tunes that really drew me to rock was in the '90s. Ugly Kid Joe, I Hate Everything About You.
Mm-hmm. It's Smashing Pumpkins. You had all these different legendary bands that we still, and it's timeless. Their music are timeless, and we still listen to it today.
Yeah.
All right. So some of your hits, man, that I've seen you play you play great Prince.
Thank you.
And great Phil Collins.
Oh, thank you.
So those of you that are watching, if you haven't watched this young man play with his name, the Clever Name Band, you're definitely missing out. Where can we find you?
Next show you can find us will be the 14th, July 14th. We already
July 14th. Yeah.
July 14th at the Poorhouse.
Cool. This will air on Monday.
That's in New Braunfels.
This will
Okay,
air on
so
Monday.
this coming up Friday. If you ain't doing nothing, and even if you are doing something, cancel your plans and come see us
Hey.
at Poorhouse.
Can we find you on social media?
Yes, you can. Facebook, Twitter. If you look on my Twitter, it's Clever Name, but generally it's just me talking shit about wrestling.
You got an
Hey, you're about
OnlyFans
to be on
account?
my show too.
No,
So.
no. Wait a minute. No, because yes, there is a Clever Name OnlyFans, but it was when it first started because it was literally for fans of musicians. That's what only now where it went to now. I ain't been on OnlyFans.
You probably showed off your drumsticks. Wow. Hell yeah, man. Well, good on you, man. You're doing great things in the community. You're making people happy. You're creating great vibes. You're creating an atmosphere of joy and people just feeling good, man. People are
I love
dancing.
it.
I see people drinking and just feeling good, man. And so thank you.
That's something to change a person's life, you know?
Yep. I think music is the heartbeat of culture and a lot of things. Music can make you happy, and music can also make you have damn road rage. But that's a whole nother topic.
Yeah.
So thank you, man.
9 Inch Nails.
Yeah. Thank you for coming on. So we are the Social Plug Podcast, powered by Social Plug Media. You can find us on all social media platforms as well. We don't have an OnlyFans, but J-Rock might. All right, he shows off his feet. He might show off his
Show my
drumstick.
feet. Yeah.
All right,
Show my feet and my dimples. That's about
there
it.
you go. Yeah, we don't know. We don't want to know where your dimples are.
Right.
All right. So you can find us on social media. You can also find us on the interweb at socialplugmedia.net, not .com, socialplugmedia.net. We do a lot of great things in the community. If you want to be on our podcast, reach out to us, 210-643-5169. We'd love to have you on. We're looking for people that have a great story, ordinary people doing extraordinary things. We want to talk about trials, tribulations, successes, failures, and all that. With that said, you are unplugged from the Social Plug Podcast. Andrae Blissett. Find him on Instagram, everywhere else he said. You can find him July 14th on Spotify. July 14th here in New Braunfels at the Poorhouse. That said, we are out.